We'll try again. Okay. Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, inside of another edition of Pacer Pride here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood University and the Marywood University Pacers. Of course, I'm your host, Dan Tortora, and I am more than happy to tell the stories of student athletes, coaches, as well as administration, and those really in general connected to Marywood University, its history, its tradition, and where we are heading. With that being said, Rob Piurowski is here with us today, and very happy to have him as the VP of Enrollment Management and Student Services. So with that being said, Rob, welcome to the broadcast.
Dan, thank you very much. How we doing, everyone? Hello, Pacer Nation.
And what I am really excited about in this Pacer Pride conversation is the fact that you are one of the newer faces here to Marywood University. A lot of people knew Ann Boland Chase, and she had spent a lot of time here, and once she had retired, the opportunity for Marywood to bring in another piece of leadership opened up the opportunity for you. So how did you hear about what was going on at Marywood University and the fact that there was this place for enrollment management and student services?
Absolutely. Thank you again, Dan, for allowing me to be here today.
Yeah.
So in terms of new, I am very new. I am about 3 months into my role here as the Vice President overseeing Enrollment Management and Student Services, which encompasses athletics, residence life, counseling, health services, student development, admissions, financial aid. So definitely pretty big shoes to fill from Ann Boland Chase, who served this university for around 30 years, and definitely want to build upon the successes that Ann contributed to the campus. In terms of learning about Marywood, I knew from my time, I'm a New Yorker. I've been a New Yorker my whole life, but however, I'm familiar with Marywood, coming past Marywood, knowing individuals that attended Marywood. I worked for several years at Binghamton University, so only about 55 miles north of Scranton. So Marywood was familiar and on my radar, but most recently I've come from SUNY Delhi, member of the State University of New York, campus about the same size as Marywood, also NCAA Division III athletics, where for the past 8.5 years I oversaw enrollment at that college. For myself, kind of becoming involved and getting to understand Marywood, I really wasn't necessarily looking to make that move, and I think there was just some serendipity. I'm going to quote Sister Mary on that when I was going through the process, that things just really aligned. I wasn't doing a national search in terms of a transition to this role, but I was looking for something more. I was definitely looking to develop, and what I thought was really attractive about the position at Marywood is that it's integrated not only enrollment management, but all these other facets I just talked about that really play into this total student experience. And that's really important to me is, in terms of my philosophy, is that we need to, as colleges and universities in this day and age, be very student-centric, very student-focused. There is the data, and a lot of my background, especially from my experiences at Binghamton University, also I oversaw recruitment at Baruch College in the City University of New York. I'm kind of a higher ed nomad. I've been all throughout New York State gaining different experiences. It's not only about the data-driven approach, but it's also about the student narrative, getting to know students, and I thought this position for right now in my time and for a place that I feel really comfortable with and getting to know the campus, getting to know the culture, a place that I want to be at for a very long time, is being able to take the data background, but also applying and getting to know the narrative, not only our students, but also our faculty, our staff, and then the community and alumni as well.
And you said that you weren't necessarily looking to make this move initially. What is so attractive about Marywood University when you talk about working with students and student services, engulfing yourself in the world of the student while you're always selling the message? So what message attracted you to Marywood?
So it was the message of community and the culture, and stepping foot onto campus right away, you just felt this really positive culture on campus. And I'd also talk about positionality, that I think Marywood, given its facilities, given its location and layout, we have this really amazing campus, an amazing array of programs, not only on the academic side of the house, but also on the student services, student life, athletic side of the house, that really can position us well for the future.
And when you look at what Marywood is today, I mean, I can say I came here in 2003, graduated in 2007. When I first walked into Marywood University, what I saw it as when I saw it as 4 years later, it had evolved. I mean, the residence halls, there were certain buildings that were made into residence halls. There was the expansion of what was going to happen with Madonna Hall and how that was going to be utilized. The where we are in the Hall of Fame room right now in the Insulaco Arena. This didn't exist when I got to Marywood, and we were in the older gym doing the MU Courtside show that I created back in '03. We were doing that there for NCAA men's and women's basketball. So I saw an evolution in my time here, and then consistently it's a constant approach of what can we do to continue to grow. And I think that's the thing that's really moving about Marywood is I was attracted to it in 2003, and now 19 years later, it's continuing to find new ways to reach out and go, oh, okay, well, now there's the esports headquarters. Well, now there's been a change to how maybe some things look in Nazareth Student Center. Even the logo's evolution. There's so many things about Marywood.
Absolutely, and I you bring up some really great points, and I kind of summarize it as, for our campus, this is a time to embrace the momentum. We know that higher education is shaping and shifting, and it's going to continue to shift, especially over the past several years. Just most recently, we had an open house on campus, a great time for prospective students and families. And one of the points that I hit was, we're looking for students and families to invest in us to continue the rich tradition of Marywood, but we're also investing in them. And that's, when we're talking about new programs coming on board, like our construction management program, also an environmental studies program, but then also we're looking at capital projects, making improvements to our existing facilities to either grow additional lab space to support students or classroom space or faculty space. This is all about the student experience to make sure that our students that are here, they want to be here, they love being here, they grow that affinity, and we continue that investment over and over for the future.
When we hear enrollment management and student services, you mentioned there's so many avenues that you jump into. How do you best describe it when you're sitting with a prospective student when they say, what is enrollment management and student services? How would you describe it?
So to actually, this is me kind of the geek outside, is that enrollment management is really an art and science. And that the science, I don't get into the science side of it, the statistics, the sabermetrics, that side of the house. It's really about talking about the art and helping someone find their love, find their fit. And as someone that started out in the world I actually started out originally as a resident director, moving quickly into admissions, it is about helping someone identify their path, identify what their ideal next steps are. I've always lived under the premise, never sell a dream you can't provide. And that's something here when working with a student and family. Yes, I could talk about all these other things, but I'm focused on the student. I'm focused on making sure I can help the student get to where they need to be. The student services side, it's a serious side of the house. Traditionally, or maybe there's some linking back to, okay, student services is just throwing parties on campus, or the bingo nights that are traditions here at Marywood, but it's so much more of that. It's about the holistic student. It's about the whole part of the student. So there's the student development side, making sure that our students are healthy, making sure that where they're living is a fully engaged, social and cultural community. So it gets more into that full cycle of the whole student. But really, when I'm talking with a student, it's about just helping them find their fit, and whether it's their academic program or the type of living situation, even down to what potential sport they want to play, or even a dining plan, just to make sure they know that they feel at home. That's my main goal in working with students.
Here on Pacer Pride, very, very much looking forward to all the stories that we get to tell, and we've been able to tell so many. Today we're telling the story of Rob Piurowski here with us from the Enrollment Management and Student Services side, Vice President there for Marywood University, here inside of Pacer Pride, that you'll find exclusively on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. As you, like you said, pinpoint different things, where do they want to live, what do they want to study, bringing out the best of them, right? Bringing out what they truly want in life, because some people come and they don't know, and they say, okay, I'll start in liberal arts, I'll take care of what I have to take care of, and then I'll find my major as I go. When you say I'm sitting down with students and I'm trying to decipher where they want to be, what they want to play, where they want to live, the dining plan, how they want to go about each and every single piece of really having their Marywood experience, it's hard to obviously sit down with everybody. So how do you juggle and manage time spent with students and is it mostly with prospective students, or will you take the time with a student on campus that maybe has been here for a couple of years and is still trying to figure out maybe the right things?
Absolutely, and definitely, if I look at it just from a singular viewpoint of myself, I can't be everywhere at every time.
Right.
One of the things that I talked about through my process before coming to Marywood was about visibility, and it's not only visibility to the students, whether it's interacting with our Student Government Association or other students on campus, but it's also amongst our, the staff that underneath the Division of Enrollment Management Student Services. It's a pretty large group. So I've started actually setting up office hours in Nazareth Dining to make myself available to ask any questions. I try to walk around campus as much as possible so that folks can see me. I know I'm rocking the bow tie today, so hopefully folks get used to seeing me, the bow tie guy, one of the bow tie guys on campus, to be able to just talk to me and let me know how I can help. And that's a major part of my role here, is to help and support. Also, I will say this, with all those areas that I listed, it's also about trust. That I have a great team, and that's something that I'm really excited about being here, is I have a great team of admissions professionals, financial aid officers, athletic department, and then all the areas underneath student services. They rock it, and they give their all, and they're also very good at alerting me if there's something that needs to come to my plate. But even when I'm coming to campus for events on campus, whether it's for current students or for prospective students, it's just about me being around, making sure that, I love looking at people, looking folks in the eye and just saying, has everything gone well today? Is there anything else I can help with? What can we improve on? Just being there for folks. So visibility is a main point of my purpose in trying to service students. I also believe in making sure that everything that we're doing, and this is part of my, plan, if I'm going to say it in that way, is that everything that we do is intentional and student supported, student focused, while still remembering that we have faculty and staff that we need to be mindful and cognizant of. But making sure that for everything that we're bringing the student on for, that their orientation links to their opening weekend, and that we have activities and events throughout the year that just continue to support students as they're going through, so that they can, if I'm going to give a tip to prospective students, make sure you engage as much as possible. And if you're not necessarily comfortable engaging and coming up to me saying, Rob, I have a question, send me an email, give a call to the office. We will help you out. This is something that, to me, is an advantage of an institution the size of Marywood, is that we can be nimble. We can move around quickly and try to support students the best as possible.
Yeah, you said you welcome the questions, you welcome what can we do better. That answer sometimes becomes challenging. So how do you lead and manage and handle constructive criticism?
Absolutely. So I'm always one to take in the information. I'm not one to, if someone is sharing something with me and maybe I have an answer to it already, I'm not one to interrupt right away. I actually like to let someone finish and then see where's it at. Is that response that I had the adequate response for the time, or can I meet someone halfway? And that's that's something that I've been trying to do during my early stages. I'm very aware that I can't change the world in 3 months. I can't change the world of Marywood in 3 months, but can I help someone meet halfway where maybe there's a point of concern for a student on campus, and let's dissect it a little bit, and what's some of the low-hanging fruit that we can work on that I have the influence on to be able to start creating a change. And that's, whether it's looking at, the timing of when meals are offered in the dining halls, or options for living on campus. These are some of the things that I can be really nimble on, versus long-term planning of potentially building new buildings, or adding a Chick-fil-A on campus.
And well, you said it, and I proudly work with Chick-fil-A Cicero and Chick-fil-A Clay in New York. Is there ever a thought of that?
I'm going to put a pin in that for right now.
Okay. You said it.
Yeah. I would, as the time comes, and again, there's no ties to it. I would love to see us, continue to look at evolving our options for students, and but we also know that we're a campus of a certain size. We're also located in a community that, when we look at like traffic patterns and influx of people, I think Chick-fil-A would be really popular. I actually think Chick-fil-A would be so popular that we may need some traffic lights in the area. So that's why I'm putting that pin in it until we can come back maybe next year at this time.
You know, different things like you said, the day-to-day, the low-hanging fruit, the things that you could affect right away, and then there's the long-term. Do you already have maybe a strategic plan of long-term goals at this point?
There are some things that I'm looking to do, and they're not, you know, they're more on the admissions and financial aid side when in terms of providing more access and opportunity, especially when it comes to multicultural recruitment, you know, increasing the diversity and equality and inclusivity of our campus, being able to look at you know, where does our historical student body come from, and where there's some opportunities for us to grow in terms of, you know, the student body and also the makeup of the student body. It's not just talking about the traditional, you know, 17, 18-year-old looking at a college. You know, one of the major markets that's been out there for the past several years has been the post-traditional market. We're looking at the adult market. We're looking at degree completions, and you know, being able to collaborate with our faculty across campus and our academic deans and our provosts to be able to, you know, look at our portfolio programs and say what are those next steps, and not just going from 0 to 100 and adding all these new programs, but let's be strategic in the ways and means that we grow or sustain our enrollment. We do know, you know, if you know, those that are reading relative, you know, or recent literature, we do know that there's an anticipated drop in available high school enrollments, you know, coming through in the next few years. But that doesn't mean that there isn't other areas that we can grow recruitment. So there's a little bit of that strategic side, but also working collaboratively with our marketing department to really share the Marywood story, continue the good work that we're doing, because we do have a great story to tell. Yeah. And again, given the location of our institution, the facilities that we provide, you know, to really maximize our story. Also on the other side is to be able to look at what other ways can we grow enrollments, whether it's through, you know, increasing, you know, the availability of student clubs and organizations, you know, potentially maximizing more athletic programs down the road if that's available and an option. I mean, everything right now, being 3 months in, is on the table, and it's really, for me, and I've been very upfront with the communities, I'm really wanting to get to know the Marywood community. Once I'm able to really get it handled, it usually it takes about a year. Yeah. to really get to know that. You're able to start applying your experience of strategies to maintain, grow enrollment, and go from there.
Yeah, you know, and with, you know, my company and the vision of the Multimedia Marketing Partnership was the whole fact of when I was looking at coming to Marywood, my high school didn't know what Marywood was in 2003. And when I got it, for whatever reason, and I have a strong faith and I trust in that, there was something about when I got that letter. And I was like, I don't know what happened, but I want to know about Marywood. And I went into my guidance counselor at the time, and she's like, well, we have to check and make sure that this is real. You know, and obviously she's like, yeah, you know, it wasn't on our list, we've never heard of it. And that was back in 2003, almost 2 decades ago. And now, fast forward, I do a show with Liverpool Athletics and do a lot of shows with the high school students and student athletes and whatnot. So I'm doing Wake Up Call location at Avicoli's, a restaurant in Liverpool, and we just did it a few weeks ago. Girl walks by me, I see a Marywood shirt on.
Awesome. And
I said to her, I go, who goes to Marywood? She said, I'm going there. I said, for real, you're gonna be a pacer? And I was like, yeah. I was like, get out. I was just there, yeah, and I was there like the day before. And so I said, yeah, I was just on campus, and she, big smile, and all of a sudden her personality opens up.
That's awesome.
And she was so excited. She knows what she wants to study, what she's gonna do. And so to me, you know, with the Multimedia Marketing Partnership, what I envision is to not have you be the best kept secret, but to have you be a very unkept secret that we're talking about all the time. And that's why I think it's imperative for, you know, prospective students and student athletes, as well as people who, like you said, are older coming back to school, maybe someone who never got to go to school. My mom started the fact that at the time, the family didn't have the means to do that monetarily, so she had to go right into the workplace. There's a lot of different avenues to go down, be it a student or student athlete, and I think it's great for them to hear your message. We've shared the message of Sister Mary Persico. There's leadership that is here that wants to help. And I think that, you know, in and of itself, the want to, the desire to, that's what people need to see, because in today's world, like you said, anticipating a drop-off within the next 2 years or so, next couple of years in high school graduates that could be coming to college, it's imperative for schools to say who they are, be who they are, and live that.
Absolutely, and you know, you bring up, you know, I know there's several new members of campus leadership on the campus, and you know, we go back to, you know, what's right on our website about passion and purpose, and I think you're really seeing that vibe in us living that model, and also remembering our mission, vision, and values within Marywood to make sure that we're supporting the history, you know, the culture, but also adapting to this new world in higher education, and again, going back to nimble, being as nimble as possible to support our students and have them have an amazing experience. And I love that you broke out the Syracuse, you know, reference, because our location, it's so close.
Yeah.
And you know, yes, it's, you know, we think that Central New York is so maybe far away, but it's not. 2 hours, 15 minutes probably from Center City, Syracuse, maybe a little less.
2 hours.
2 hours, okay.
I can do it in 2 hours.
You heard it here.
I could do it in 2 hours, but no, I mean, I've done the drive so many times, and I tell people all the time, and I bring up Marywood all the time, and I've had this statement come out of my mouth multiple times in the last few weeks, because I'm just used to it. And I mean, I love my alma mater, so to me, it's nothing to talk about Marywood and how important this is to me. And if I don't have an answer, then I'm going to seek that either from you or Sister Mary or from Pat Murphy or whoever it may be. So in the world that we live in today, I love telling people, I said, listen, it's almost a direct straight line. From if you look at a map from Syracuse to Scranton, it's almost an exact straight line down. And it is. It's 2 hours. You brought up being at Binghamton University. Binghamton's my halfway point. When I make it to Binghamton, I know I got about an hour to go. And what I love about the fact of it being here is that to bring it to the sports side of things, a lot of the coaches are recruiting up there. A lot of the coaches, be it for soccer, be it for field hockey, be it for lacrosse and what have you. You know, I know that Carrie Brown just went up there with the women's lacrosse team to the Dome to see a Syracuse game, a little team bonding event. And there's so much talent that's right there, and it's right for the taking. Central and upstate New York is vast, and there's so much life there. And when I went to school here, I mean, one of my closest friends came from Ghana, Africa. And so I'm asking him, how did you hear about Marywood, and how did I hear about Marywood? And you know, it's so, I don't think it's a secret. I really don't think it's a secret. And to continue to uncover that and to tell people, you know, the vision and the mission. And I think about the sports side of it next to the Pacer, fierce, focused first. And, you know, being fierce means being tenacious, going after what you want, focused, having a plan, and being able to literally focus forward and zoom into it and take that lens and make it be what you need it to be, so you can see that end game and where you want to go and what you want to do. And then first, to find the places where you can develop quicker, bring things in sooner, and be ahead of the curve, like Marywood has been with esports, which I think has been tremendous. Is you're way ahead of the curve for that.
No, absolutely. We're extremely proud of our new esports facility and the work that's happening within that team, becoming a competitive player right away. And you know, I think you go back to the fierce focus first, is that Marywood is becoming, you know, a continued player when it comes to NCAA Division III athletics, and then also just being, you know, in the mix in terms of competition and in terms of expanding, you know, diversifying their roster to not just be a regional roster, but being able to go out and be able to recruit in Central New York or in the Capital District or in Westchester, Long Island, Northern Jersey. You know, we're looking for competitive students here that want to play and want to be amazing student athletes for us. You
mentioned it, so I have to bring it up before we dive into sports a little bit more. Give me the reason why the bow tie.
The bow tie. You know, it's always been a lifelong goal for me. When I first saw someone tie a bow tie, I said, I want to do this. And I think I was about 12, 13 years old, and I just never had the guts to try it, nor did I really have a reason to wear a dress shirt at that time. And actually, I kind of let it go for a little bit, and then when I you know, hit my mid 30s, I said, I got to give this a go. Well, come to realize, all the videos that are online as I'm trying to learn, they're all from folks that are right-handed. So I'm a lefty. So I tried and I failed miserably for about a month. Tried every morning, watching a video, trying to do it. And then one Sunday I just said, I gotta do this. And I spent 6 hours in front of a mirror and I got it done. I like the bow ties. I say because one, I think it works for me and kind of my dress style and what I like to wear. Also, I find it easier to wear that I don't have a tie flopping around every day, and it's just comfortable. I just always liked it, and I like that you can mix it up a little bit and show your personality through this little piece of clothing. But so yeah, I've been doing it for about 5 years. About 4 out of the 5 days a week, I'm rocking a bow tie.
So since you had to watch videos of only righties doing it, have you paid it forward by videotaping you as a lefty doing it to help other lefties out there like yourself to not have to go through the struggle?
I'm going to have to add that to my bucket list now. Now I'm going to have to become a tutor in left-handed bow tie training.
Well, put it on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/WakeUpCallDT, the lefty bow tie with Rob Piurowski. I would love to see that. So you and I had crossed paths but didn't really know it a couple months ago. As you said, you were at the whiteout game.
Yep.
And I was here doing the PA announcement and also helping out with some other pieces of it, so being the voice of the doubleheader for men's and women's basketball inside of the Insulaco Arena. So you got to see the basketball side of things. You were here. I know Sister Mary was here. You've gotten to see different programs, obviously, in your few months that you've been here. Where is your sports passion? Where does it lie? And how has it evolved?
So my passion for sports, I'm not going to lie, I'm a tried and true D3 sports junkie. I love going to sporting events. Full disclosure, Knicks, Giants, Yankees, but Division III sports, I've always supported the athletic programs at different institutions, trying to be as involved as possible. Whether it's in the stands or I actually had a cup of coffee for a couple years announcing men's and women's basketball games at my previous institution, so being able to be right on the court. Naturally, I just have that passion for sports. I'm a former college student athlete. I grew up playing competitive tennis, played #1 singles and doubles in college for tennis. Can't really give it a go anymore. We get a little older, and the mind says one thing, the body says the other. But you never lose that passion and hunger, and I think that's something that when I have an opportunity to connect with coaches, to connect with student athletes or potential student athletes, is they want to see also, even if they're not directly involved in athletics, they want to see someone that understands what their aspirations are, what their goals are, but also to maintain that competitive fire. And I think Intern, which has been a great fit, and definitely building a relationship with Pat Murphy, the athletic director here, is that he knows I have that competitive fire, that I want our student athletes to be amazing students. Mm-hmm. But right there, I also want them to be amazing athletes as well and leave it all on the table when they go out.
You said you're a D3 junkie and that you love that world.
Yep.
That makes my heart like have a, because D3 doesn't get the respect that it deserves. And when people get around NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, USCAA, NJCAA, I've been around it all. And student athletes are student athletes. Mm-hmm. It is a difficult road. It is a full-time job to be a student. It is a full-time job to be an athlete. It is a full-time job that sometimes there are jobs that we work. I had jobs when I was here, and I ran the station, the TV station as a station manager, and I was the first ever sports director at Marywood. So there's all these things that you're doing job on job on job, and regardless of division, you have to train, you have to watch film, you have to go out there and practice. You got to do things at home. You have to be strong mentally. You got to be prepared in games. That never goes away. So can we take away the stigma of Division III, and because you're such a junkie and a supporter of it, can we spotlight D3 at Marywood and as a whole to say these student athletes deserve the same amount of respect as everybody else?
Absolutely, and I want to say that I'm going to look into the camera and say to all those student athletes in Division III, thank you for what you're doing, and thank you for your love of athletics, and thank you for the grind. I'm also going to extend that out to the athletic departments at Division III institutions. We do recognize that it's not always the glow and the shine of Division I or Division II, but we know how hard it is. We know it's a constant, 24/7, mode, not only for student athletes but for coaches. And definitely, I am all about working with Pat Murphy and the athletics department to continue to grow athletics, put the spotlight on athletics, making it a premier program, not only in the region, but let's go bigger.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. So you've been fantastic here, Rob Piurowski, as the VP of Enrollment Management Student Services at Marywood University inside of this edition of Pacer Pride. And of course, we are here with you every single Friday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with my alma mater. You know this. Rob has never done this before, but rapid fire is something we've done for years on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. We have 3 questions apiece. We have not pre-planned anything. Rob and I will ask each other questions, and it could be about anything in the world. We have to answer it. And I will defer to you and let you go first since you've been so gracious of your time.
And I'm going to throw it right back since you're a Central New York person. You're at the New York State Fair. Do you go Gianelli sausage or do you go chicken speedy?
That's a good question. I typically try to find a good Philly cheese when I'm there.
Okay.
But I would say, yes. But I would say if I had to choose, then I would probably choose chicken just because I don't typically go sausage in general. If I have it, it's with breakfast or it's cut up or it's on something. So, Gianelli's is great. And nothing against Gianelli's whatsoever, but it's, to me in my world, it's chicken over that. But there's been some good Philly cheeses. Heroes and Legends, which doesn't exist anymore, which used to be in the Center of Progress building, that group, I want to thank them all. The Heroes and Legends staff in that kitchen made the best Philly cheese that we had there, and we don't have it anymore.
Okay.
So, sad, tear. But, okay, so you talk about Central New York and appreciation for upstate New York and whatnot. How comfortable this is not my question, it's a primer to my question. How comfortable are you in the Syracuse realm?
Scale 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, a 4.
Okay, a 4. So I'll ask you this. Your overall thoughts on the 46-year coaching career of Jim Boeheim?
It's a long time. I just like for Jim Boeheim and also Coach Krzyzewski, to be able to have those careers is amazing, and you got to applaud it. And you think about a grind. Let's talk about a grind. That is a grind, and being able to know, Jim Boeheim's career when starting out with, the Big East, and how the Big East was just this really small kind of D1 conference, not a lot of shine, and the work that was done. I mean, a major part was some of the moves by Coach Boeheim bringing in, Carmelo and GMAC, and being able to have that, that storied tradition. But I still even think about the old days. I think about Derek Coleman. I think about Pearl Washington as a kid, and I mean, these are some classic moments that he was a part of this. I mean, he has such a tradition, and it's like when the time is done. I mean, I can't see Syracuse basketball without Coach Boeheim there, but we know it's going to be a sad day, but we also got to be thankful for someone like that that's given so much to the game.
Yeah, Roy Danforth was there, and then in '76, Boeheim took over, and shortly after that, the creation of the Big East, Syracuse being one of the founding members of that, and still to this day, I love the Big East. And I was at the Garden for this tournament that just finished up here for the men's basketball side, and they show the historic moments of the Big East tournament and all that. Jim Boeheim's still there, Syracuse moments are still there. It still gets me emotional. Mm-hmm. And now with all the teams that are there and Syracuse not there, without Syracuse and Pitt, the band's together. UConn's back, so it just looks like everybody's having lunch and they forgot to pull up a chair for Syracuse. So it's very weird to see it, but I'll always be a Big East kid. And before Pearl passed away, I got to form a bond and a friendship with him, and sat with him like this in the car and called me his brother. Wow. And I will never forget Pearl, and I never forget the time that we got to spend before he went back home.
but not to dampen the spirits of this conversation.
Yeah.
Full disclosure, I was a Georgetown fan. Patrick Ewing, the Warrior.
So I'm gonna walk off set right now. But no, Patrick is actually he's great, and I got to meet John Thompson Jr. before he passed, and I've also gotten to interview Patrick Ewing after Pearl passed away.
Okay.
And after Pearl passed, I was down at NBA Summer League in Orlando, and I'm talking with Patrick, and I said, I want to do this thing about Pearl and kind of just a remembrance thing. He still, it's on the YouTube channel, so check it out since you're a Georgetown fan especially, youtube.com/WakeUpCall.DT. If you look up Patrick Ewing on that, months after, I think it might have been a year after Pearl died, I asked him about Pearl, and he still gave a backhanded compliment. I'm like, he passed away. But that is the Georgetown-Syracuse rivalry. They will fight you in your grave.
Yeah. Patrick Ewing, loved Patrick Ewing when he was in college, and then I was a Knicks fan before Patrick Ewing was a member of the Knicks, so it's just a natural tie-in. And I know he had that rough edge to him, but as a young kid that loved basketball, he's someone to me that epitomized like being a good player, just working hard, having a good work ethic, and even through my love of basketball, I love a good defensive player. I know Patrick used to take about 5 or 6 steps before shooting, but
Yeah.
He was always there, just holding down the defense, and led those really great Knicks teams.
I will try to find a way to forgive you for what you said. What's your second question?
So let's pivot back to Marywood. So I know you've had a lot of really great experiences here, but as someone that is relatively new to the community, what can you share with me a memory or a tradition that you still hold true to this day that's like one of those singular events that you really loved?
Yeah, I started my professional career here. So without Marywood University, I could not say that I've been a broadcaster for over 18 years. I was and those of you that are loyal to the show, thank you, and I feel like you followed me on this path before, but to tell this story, I was living at Madonna Hall as a freshman, and my buddy Brandon Smith, who went to school here and was also, it was an RA at Madonna, so I was downstairs in Madonna Hall at the time, before it was renovated, and I was doing laundry. And I didn't even know that there was a game that day. And I had told him, I said, listen, I want to be a broadcaster, I want to commentate, this is something that I would love to do. And I've been watching SportsCenter since I was 10 years old, I have a photographic memory, I collect cards, like I want to live in this world, and it's just like, it's a part of me. So he called me 12 minutes before a game, and I had, I believe, a blue hamper, and one of those collapsible ones, and to this day, I do not know where my clothes went. I don't know if somebody took them, I don't know what happened, but I had my clothes on the top of the washer, and I was putting in the final quarter, and I remember looking at the quarter, and my phone rang, and Brandon said to me, hey, I know you always wanted to do this. The guy that was supposed to be here didn't show up, he can't come today. You got about 12 minutes to get here, can you do it? I literally dropped everything that was there, ran out, and went to the old gym at the time, and went to the broadcast, didn't know the team that Marywood was playing, didn't know the names of anybody, pronunciation, nothing. Got in there, had fun by myself, and after that they said, we want to try and do this on audio and video. We thought it was great, we got calls, it was funny, people enjoyed it. We want to try and make this a thing. And about 3 shows in, we just jumped into it. I created the logo, the first graphics for it, put a team together, and then ran the station, made it really to TV Marywood, the second thing that was underneath that, and just fell in love with it every day, didn't want to let it go. And Brendan Murphy, shout out to you, Brendan, I love you, a good friend of mine, he asked me when he was doing Courtside here, he asked me to come back twice, which I never thought I'd be able to do because it's student run. And he asked me to come back and do the games with him, and we did a couple of double headers, and it was a fantastic moment with it. And Rico Mastriani, obviously the men's basketball coach, was there for these. And so, I mean, honestly, the moment of starting my career, and I would also say, so I wanted to learn how to do it, and I tried to, couldn't figure it out, couldn't figure it out. and came in on like a Saturday, I sat in the control room for our TV station here, and I taught myself how to do it, and actually got to bring that tape in and share that and be like, this is how you run the bottom line. So I figured out the code to do it. That moment, and then probably being asked to come back as a keynote speaker. And Enrico called me. At the time, Tara Machako was the women's basketball head coach, and Enrico said, Tara and I would like you to be our keynote speaker. And my first response was, I said, I don't deserve that. I was like, that's a Bob Costas job. And I got to come back and be a part of it and be honored for Courtside and everything here. So,
Amazing.
I mean, I thank Marywood for a million memories, but, you know, a couple months into school, November 2003, starting my career, and now 18 plus years later, I own my own business. We'll be having our 10-year anniversary on June 20th of 2022. And it all started with a great education, great people, and a department, and an athletic department and a communications department that said to me, the door is open, walk through it if you want to. So, I mean, you really can't get an experience anywhere else like you got here, and I will always, always be grateful for that.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing that memory, and I think one of the key takeaways to any prospective students or any parents that may share this with prospective students is, you know, once you start your college experience, take a leap, try something different, and even if it's something in your wheelhouse that you've never done before, just try it. What's the worst that happens? And look where you are now. That's awesome.
Full circle.
Yes, sir.
So, on that note, the biggest leap you've ever taken in your life?
That's a good one. I think the biggest leap for me, I mean, this is a pretty sizable leap, but it's almost too easy to say. This you know, too quick to say that.
Yeah.
I'd actually say very similar to your road is I realized after my first year of college that I didn't really necessarily know what I wanted to do. I started off as an accounting major. You know, I was playing college sports, but I really didn't really know if I wanted to be an accountant. I kind of realized you know, being in that first year of college, getting involved in campus activities, that I had a different motor. I wouldn't be able to be behind a desk the rest of my life and just crunching numbers, and I didn't really know what to do. And you know, I really thank my blessings for, you know, I was in a college fraternity, and one of the seniors in the fraternity just said, you know, you got to figure out what you want to do, Rob. You know, it's college is going to go like this. And he was like, well, this is what I did. And he actually suggested for me to do the Walt Disney World College program. And, you know, for someone that grew up in upstate New York, I'm originally from Albany, New York, went to Colony Central High School, go Raiders, that I never really left New York. I went to college about an hour and a half away, and yes, I lived away, but like I never explored the world or even explored the United States. And to be able to go down for a 6-month program to Walt Disney World and to be just exposed to just the world's a big place, and the, you know, the United States is a big place, and to be able to meet people from across the world and gain, you know, different business perspectives and that spirit of service was just something that was a game changer, kind of similar to what you had, and I really embraced that, and I was able to go down and continue to go down to Walt Disney World and continue internships during the summers, but really allowed me not only to develop and you know, really shape who I am personality-wise, but also develop my love for statistics. I was able to do different things that maybe wouldn't have been afforded to me in a traditional internship, and really set the stage for what would be my career that would lead me here today, which is just, I really like to just help people, and that's kind of the antithesis of Walt Disney World training, and it just kept evolving.
Full circle, funny how God works. I did the Walt Disney World internship program, and I did it here at Marywood, so.
Nice.
Yeah, I got to go down there and live in that world, and I had a very unique phone interview that I will never forget, because I took a leap, and I thought they're either not gonna hire me or she's gonna think this is hilarious. So, what's your final question?
Final question. So, so given that I'm relatively new to Scranton, Dunmore, the area, I know I could always ask the question, like, what's your go-to restaurant area, but like, what would you say outside of going to eat? Like, what would you recommend as something for me to do in the area? Where where should I go? What should I check out?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I love to discover, and I think that because a little show that some of you may know called The Office, because it was based on Scranton, Pennsylvania, there's now an ode to it, and I actually created, by going online and doing some research, I created my own office tour and different places to check out in Scranton, Pennsylvania that are all around Marywood. And so I would say that's kind of a fun scavenger hunt to do. I would also say I'm a big movie guy. I love the movies, and I absolutely love Cinemark. And the one that's here is on Montage Mountain is still one of my favorites, top 2 ever, if not my number 1, because I saw so many movies there. I worked there when I was going to school at Marywood to make a little money and be able to take care of some stuff. So, I would say it's the office tour. I would say, Cinemark's fun. Also, obviously the Scranton Wilkes-Barre Yankees are right there for you. You're a Yankee fan, so you get to see a lot of the come up, and you get to see guys that end up being all-stars that end up winning World Series coming through here. So it's really incredible. So I would say that's another part of it too. And really, just take in a nature walk. I'm big on walking, healthy mind, healthy body.
Absolutely.
Healthy body, healthy mind. So, walk around campus, go pull your car up somewhere onto one of the hills and park it and just go out for a little walk. There's some really, really beautiful pieces here, and Nahog Park and different sites to see. So I would say you can make Northeast PA your own journey. You just have to be willing to open your mind.
Great. All right, so
I got one more for you.
So,
yeah, so you asked me that.
I did.
You asked me where to go. So my last one for you is, so are you a movie guy? Do you like?
I am a movie guy.
Okay. So do you see Marvel? Do you see DC? Any of that stuff?
I do see those movies.
Okay. So what, if you were in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, give me 5 members of the Marvel world, anybody, that you would make, if you could make your own Avengers team to defeat Thanos, give me your 5 that you think have the best chance.
Ooh. Well, full disclosure, I haven't read the comic books, only seen the movies, so.
That's okay.
I'm a traditionalist. I think it's going with the original Avengers crew. And, even if you think about it, we know that, Natasha Romanoff, don't want to do any spoilers for anyone that hasn't seen. Yeah, but I would go with the core. I would go with the core 5, or the core group. So we got Captain America, we got Thor, we got Hulk, we got Black Widow, we got Hawkeye, and I think
You said Captain America.
I think
Thor.
yeah.
Thor, Iron Man.
Iron Man. So 6. So I think they would have figured it out, but kudos to Doctor Strange.
Yeah. Who knew that there was just one?
Yeah.
And the multiverse of madness is obviously something that is going to change things forever. So, speaking of changing things forever, your time at Marywood University changed my life forever, and it has the opportunity to change yours. All you have to do is do what my teachers and the wonderful staff members and administration did here, which is open the door. And Rob Piurowski has made it known that his door is open. In his office hours, he makes his time well spent to come out and see you and speak with the student body. So whether you're a prospective student or you're already on campus, make sure you go and visit Rob, our VP of Enrollment Management and Student Services. And of course, if you ever need to hear from an alum and you want some advice, I am more than happy to lend my ear and lend my time. So with that being said, for this edition of Pacer Pride on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with Marywood University and your Pacers, I thank you. I wish you a fantastic day. God bless as always. And Rob, thank you, and I hope for many more opportunities to speak to you. We'll talk with you soon. Let's see if you can rock the bow tie like Rob does.